Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Look at this little cutie. This is an oldie but goodie, and this is using a tag topper punch. And I'm using some new items in the January to June 2021 mini catalog coming out on January 5th. And it's also during celebration. And that's a time of the year whenever we can get a free gift with a $50 purchase, and there's also 2 gifts with a $100 purchase, and there's no limit to what you can buy. And so I'm going to be using some new items, some celebration items on this cute easy card. So as you can see, it's got the strawberries on it. So sweet. There's a new bundle that's coming in the January to June mini catalog. It's called the Sweet Strawberry Bundle, and it has a punch with it. Yes, it cuts out the strawberry and the leaves on the strawberry, another leaf, and then a little tiny flower there. So you've got really sweet font there and great sentiments there, the sweet strawberry. Well, during celebration with a $100 purchase, you can get the Berry Blessings stamp set with this designer series paper. And as you can see, Berry Blessings, we've got raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, along with the strawberries that are in the sweet strawberry. Whoa, wow. I'm glad my toe wasn't under that punch. Okay, and I'm glad that Jim is up this morning already because I started early this morning. So punch is all intact, my foot is intact, and no crazy husband saying, "What did you drop up there?" at like really early in the morning. So here we go. This is a beautiful paper here. Look at these gorgeous these papers here. You've got the Pacific Point blue, which is such a bright, cheery blue. With balmy blue, you've got rich razzleberry, you've got blackberry bliss, cherry cobbler, daffodil delight, flirty flamingo, garden green, granny apple green, night of navy, and poppy parade, shaded spruce, and a beautiful whisper white neutral. So this paper, oh my gosh, I love all the ginghams in there and the plaids. I just love it, love it, love it. Oh, it's so pretty. And so I'm just gonna sit that aside there. And as you can see, I picked this pattern here that has all the berries in it. And so we're gonna start here with our supplies. Now let's bring this card back here. Alrighty, so this is Poppy Parade. Poppy Parade is a little bit brighter of a red than Real Red, but boy, Real Red is exactly what it says. It's Real Red. And Poppy is just cheerful. I love this red. So we're going to start with half a sheet of our cardstock, and that is 8.5 by 5.5. And then we're going to be scoring it a little differently because we're going to be putting I'm going to actually take my polka dot tool out of here and set it aside. You're going to see we're going to be having a different scoring on here because we're putting these little tags, topper punches on these sides here. And then I'm just going to set this aside. So let's just get started on our card base here. Now this card base, we're going to be using our tag topper punch, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we have the tag on both sides in the same place. So what we're going to do is just get a ruler. I'll just bring out my little piece of my grid paper from my Stamparatus, so handy. But also your bigger grid paper, just cut it in half so you have a handy ruler there. So what we're going to do is find a pencil in this massive amount of things here, and of course I do not see a pencil handy, so what we're going to do is I think what I'll do, oh, here's the pencil. It's really crappy pencil, but it's a pencil. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure up 1 inch on the one side here. So just put it at your ruler area there. Okay. And I'm just going to put a mark here at 1 inch with my pencil. Now, I'm just going to flip my paper over. Just flip it, boom. And then we're going to put that 5.5 inch side again, and we're going to make a little mark there at the 1 inch, okay? So what we have is we made a 1 inch, and then we just flipped it and made a 1 inch on the other side. So your pencil marks are on the same side of your card, but on opposite sides, back and front, okay? So now the next thing, now there are some people who actually make that mark and then they just take their card like this, fold it, but they don't crease it, and then they put their punch in, and then they know that the tags are in the same place. But I tried that and it was just too thick for me. So this is the way I'm doing it here. Okay, so we have this little pencil mark we made 1 inch up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up our punch. This is the fancy tag punch. And we're going to put it in. It just will slide in. You kind of have to take it at an angle, and you just slide in your paper into the punch. And it'll go down to, it looks like you have a little gap there that it's not there, but it's actually at the, where it can't go any further. Now we want to put this little tick mark here that we made, and we're gonna line it up with that little piece of opening right where there's a little tiny line right between where the light gray of your punch and the silver metal of your punch. And just put that tick mark, hopefully you can see that there, that little tick mark right in there. Make sure it's flush with the bottom. See right there, I was a little bit off. And the tick mark is right there lining up with that little tiny gap that's in there. And we're going to punch. Okay. And what did I do? I closed my punch when I did it. Then we're going to slide out our paper carefully, and we have our punch made there. Okay, now what I am going to do is, while I have this here, should I just do the other side, or, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, do the other one, okay? And you'll know that you're working on the same side, and you see that tick mark. There was something I did when I made this card that, but I don't think I did it at the same time. Okay, so once again, we're gonna line that little tick mark that we made with our pencil at the 1 inch mark on the 5.5 inch side, and I'm just lining that tick mark right where that little sliver of opening is between the lighter gray plastic and the silver metal of the punch, and make sure it's flush in there, and we're going to punch, and that will assure that we're at the same, that they're right there at the same mark on your paper. Okay, so let's get rid of some of here. Now we're gonna have to cut off these edges here. So what we're gonna do is get our trimmer, bring our trimmer in here. Now, we've got what I consider a good side here. Well, actually both sides really come out nicely. So we're just going to put our longer 8.5 inch side at the top so that our tag topper is where the groove is. Now you're going to put that right where the end of the tag topper comes. You're going to put so that you can see the full amount of the groove, cutting groove on your trimmer. And it's going to be super easy. Like if you don't have a trimmer, you can just draw a line with just get a ruler and just meet the two edges here, and you just snip that off. Easy peasy. But I do like to use my trimmer here, and it's so easy because once you put, let me put this down here. Once you put your paper in there, keep it firmly in place. When you put your dark cutting blade going down, it's automatically going to stop when it hits right where that little opening is. Okay, so there we go, and we're just going to go down, and then it just hits that opening. You almost heard the click when I did that. Then I open it back up and I bring it down, because if you try to, and I have done this, if you try to be really good about it and skip that tag and then cut the bottom part, inevitably you're going to get a little nick in that tag, and you really want this tag to have some stability. Okay, let's see if you can hear this. There you go. You want to have this stability here because it's going to be holding the card together. Then you just throw those little guys out here. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and turn my card, and I'm going to go to 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. Oh wait, no, we're not going to do that because I forgot. I cut this side off, so we have to do it on this side. We're going to, oh gosh, guys, I almost made a terrible mistake. So we cut one side off. Now this other side, before we cut off that second part, and actually you should do this at the beginning, but thankfully I caught that. You're going to take this upper part here and you're going to go to 3.5, okay? You're going to go to 3.5, and you're going to score, okay? Score at 3.5. Now remember, that 3.5 is before you cut off these tabs, okay? Just do one of the sides has to be scored at 3.5 before you cut these tabs off. Like I almost scored it at 3.5 there, and that would have been incorrect because you have to measure from this. Okay, so now we have our score line, and now we can come and cut off these tabs. So just remember that. Okay, so we'll do the same thing we did on the other one. Just get those two little grooves showing right there where we had our tag there. And then we're going to just go down till we hit the groove. There you go. And then lift it up. Go from the bottom up till you hit the groove. There you go. Get rid of these little guys there, and you've got your card base done. Now, once again, all we did was take our piece of cardstock, and we measured 1 inch on each side. We punched our tags, and then before we cut out both sides, we took and measured over 3.5 inches and scored, and that would have been on this one is what we did. So this here was at 3.5, and then we cut our edges off. Okay, there we go. We'll put our trimmer away safely there. Okay, so now we've got our card base done. Now the rest of it is just easy peasy, because the way the card is going to be, this will be the back. Here is our mountain. Now that's the part that has a little bump on it, and I always fold into that mountain there. Okay, and then, oh, I almost forgot. We want to put a score line here. Now I'm going to put the score line on this side. There we go. And you just want to put a score line right at where your cutting groove is. And just make a score line right there on your tag. Okay, made a score line. If you don't have a scoring tool, you could just scoring blade, you could just use your bone folder and put it in that groove. Okay, so now we're ready to roll here, because this is what our card looks like. We just fold over this edge, and that is our card base. Awesome. Okay, super simple. The measurements are a little bit different on this card because you've got a little bit different of a dimension here. And what you're going to do here is I measured it all out for you. Now, you may see this card. Many people have made these cards, and they have different dimensions. These are the dimensions that were appealing to me and that I used on this card, but a lot of people put designer paper in right to the edge. But what I liked about this one is the way I did it is I made a 2 1/4 by 5 1/8. Now that didn't leave me, it's not like I have an equal amount the whole way around here for the red to show, but my designer paper isn't necessarily the same depth down, but it's very close, so I think it's really appealing to the eye. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pop that on. So all the measurements for this card and all the colors and all the products I use, they are on my blog post for this card. You can just, right underneath the YouTube description, I'm just going to use some of my Stampin' Seal. The Stampin' Seal is a little bit stronger of an adhesive, and I'm just going to, and it comes out in little tiny strips here. Okay, I got a little distracted there. All the measurements and colors and products I use on the card are on my blog post. Do you ever notice you get a little bit of an edge sometimes on your trimmer when you're cutting? Okay, so we're putting this, actually that was my back side. So we're putting this Pacific Point border, cardstock border, and like I said, you can use any different measurements you want, but these really worked well for me. And the Pacific Point was 2 1/4 by 5 1/8. All those measurements are on my blog. Underneath the YouTube description, it says visit my blog here. Press that link, takes you over to cindyleebdesigns.com. You'll have additional photos. You can go to my online store. I also have all of that in the YouTube description as well. So now we wanted to layer down our designer series paper. Oh, look how cute that that Pacific Point is, just on point. Aw, see, oh, no, that did come off. Good. Okay, I thought I put the adhesive on the wrong side of the paper. Okay, so we've got this beautiful designer series paper, and because of our 2 1/4 in measurement, I brought this down to 2 inches. And then because of 5 1/8 of the Pacific Point, I brought this down to 4 7/8. Okay, just using 1/8. Oh, look at this beautiful. Don't even want to cover it. Don't even want to cover it. Oh, it's so pretty. Make sure your strawberries, if you're using this paper, make sure your berries are going in the right direction, because it is kind of directional. Not kind of, it is. So we're just going to pop on that designer series paper. And that designer series paper, I don't think I mentioned that the name of it is Berry Delightful, and it is Berry Delightful. Berry Delightful. You get the Berry Blessing stamp set and the designer series paper free with a $100 order, and just pop the sweet strawberry and the strawberry builder punch on your order. Huh, you've got a lot of toys to play with. Okay, so we've got our base on there with the front of the card. So the inside of the card, just while we're talking about measurements, I just did Whisper White, and I did also 5 1/8 because I want this Whisper White to match the same dimension as the front of the card so that it just looks nice and uniform there. So that made that 5 1/8, and then I brought this into 3 7/8 because this was a 4 inch. Okay, so, but we're not going to stamp on that yet. Okay. Let's look at these cute little strawberries. Now on these little strawberries that I stamped and then I cut out with the strawberry builder punch, I did use real red because I didn't think the Poppy Parade was showing as much, but actually I think it did show beautifully. So I did these ones in Poppy Parade, on Poppy Parade, to match the Poppy Parade in the paper. So you just, I'm going to give you a little hint here. When you're using punches, always make sure you look at the way the punch is laid out, because you could stamp a whole bunch of things and then have, like, put it in there and it doesn't work exactly right, or you can waste a lot of paper. On this one, because there's 4 different die cuts that can be punched out, I ended up using a strip here. I kind of looked at how big my strawberry was, and I realized if I just do it on a strip that's just going to get the strawberry, I'm not going to be punching out and getting all these pieces and wasting a lot of my paper. Now another thing though is look how the leaf of the strawberry and the flower kind of are very close to the strawberry. You'll notice on here when I stamped these, I thought I had space there, but I kind of almost nicked my strawberry, and once I would punch this out, it probably wouldn't be perfect. So make sure you space it enough too, and if you need to, just use a piece of scratch paper to see how far away you're doing, but that's how I did that. Now another little trick too is with the orientation. I found that when I did these, I stamped them the wrong direction. So now I look and I say, oh, okay, I want to stamp this little strawberry here, the little let's say his little his leaves there, the little top of the strawberry, and I'm using my little spots. I've got a lot of spots because now look, I'll look again once at my punch and know the stem is going down, is going over to the left. I'll stamp my image in Garden Green, it's one of the colors in the paper, and then I can pop it into my punch and get my little leaf punched out there. Okay, all kinds of little things here. So now I have my 3 little tops and my 3 strawberries, and I'm going to pop those onto the front of the card. This card is super, super simple. And another thing I did is when I put my little tops on my strawberries, I just used my glue dots. I put the glue dots down towards the bottom of the strawberry leaves because I knew they were going to go right onto the top of my strawberry. Usually I don't do this, but this made it really quick. I had no dry time with glue. Put that on that. Oh, I just love these strawberries. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, there we go. There we go. And one more strawberry I love how the designer paper really does a lot of work on this card. And then I just kind of put my trio of strawberries on my card. And we're just going to put down one of the strawberries flat. There we go. One of the strawberries is going to be popped up, and I put him next, and then I just stuck the dimensionals on the back of the right side because I want to slip that last strawberry in after I have this one on. And I want to slip this one under. And did you ever put a dimensional on and then you can't throw a leaf in there? Ha! That's what I did. So now I'm trying to think when I'm putting dimensionals on. Okay, so our last strawberry right there. Look how that Poppy Parade just pops off. Even though this is a very busy paper, you still get that designer flair of really your eye goes to the paper, but it also goes to the strawberries. It's like they're equally impressive on this card, I think. Okay, so we're gonna do the inside of our card now. And you'll see here, I used that Whisper White, and I'm just gonna put a little piece of scratch paper here because I went ahead and stamped this whole image here from the Sweet Strawberry, and I did it in the garden green so that I'd have little white flowers, and then I just added a little bit of yellow into them. So what we're gonna do is use that image, and like I said, that image there is in the Sweet Strawberry, and I'm gonna take my garden green and I'm gonna ink up I love this sentiment here. I mean, the stamp set, because any sentiment that you have that has like sweet in it or something like that. So we're just going to put that so that we can see the flowers on that lower corner. Okay, so we're just going to stamp that. Hold a little pressure down on there. Lift it up. And then I just took my dark daffodil blend to add that little color of looking at the little, blooms of the strawberry plant, as we're getting excited to have them bloom and get our bounty. So, okay, there we go. We'll move that there. And so that'll be going into the inside of our card here. And you'll have that nice little visual image on that card that you see there. Okay, so now I wanted to put in the sentiments. Now, love this cute little sentiment here. I love whenever a font, I already have it out. I love when a font is already, and you know what, we're gonna go ahead and adhere this into here, because just a couple little, especially with this Stampin' Seal Plus, you wanna get, and I'm gonna put this here so that I have the equal amount. Usually if you're looking at 3 sides, you're just gonna make sure those 3 sides and then the 4th side should go in fine. So we can see that we're meeting the same line, visual line there, and we have our cute little strawberry blooms. And the reason why I wanted to put that in there first is I want to do my little sentiment hello there. And I'm going to use my Pacific Point. Like I said, I have all these little spots from my paper pumpkins. You get one each month. And so I use those all the time. But you can also make your own spots, because we have these uninked 1x1 cubes. They have a felt inside, and then you just use your reinkers. I have a lot of my stamping friends who, okay, then we're going to put that right up above the tag. Hello there. There we go. And then I used an image here, a sentiment from the Berry Blessings. It's the celebration set. You always have a way of making my day. And as you see, of course, why wouldn't they do this? But look how this, they do coordinate the fonts. And I love that Wishing You the Berry Best. It has all the berries in it. So that is so adorable. So here we go. I just love the sentiment here. I keep looking at my paper and seeing it kind of looks like it. I think I have it on there straight. Hope it's on there straight, because I use my Stampin' Seal. ink up with a Pacific Point. And like I said, I'm so happy I got to use Pacific Point. It is one of my favorite colors. It's just so bright and cheery. Okay, fold that down and put that on the inside. And what was really nice, and probably why I picked this sentiment, is it is covered up when you close the card. You just want to make sure, like me personally, I wanted to make sure that it's covered up. I didn't want like a long sentiment. It would look kind of funny if you put a sentiment across here and the sentiment was popping out, because you just want that little bit there. So you just take a piece of your polka dot Whisper White tulle ribbon. I like this tulle ribbon because it's very easy to tie. It's very lightweight, especially when you're sending, you know, in the mail, not bulky. And then you just tie your two tags together. And you know, we have a lot of different tag topper punches. The scallop, the ornate one, this fancy tag one that is in the current catalog. And then you just, beautiful little bow. I tried to find another color that was in here, and I didn't in my scavenges find it, but I really think the polka dot and the white don't take away from the rest of the card. It's just a nice little delicate detail on there. So is that the cutest thing or what? Berry Blessings and the Sweet Strawberry in the annual not the annual, the new mini coming out with this is, oh wait, this is the tag topper, the fancy tag, but with the strawberry builder. And then you just add to that order and get $100. You will get the Berry Blessings and that gorgeous, gorgeous paper with all the different berries in it. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can also text me or call me at 724-323-2296. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.